And, then, what year did Helen die?
2000.
2002. Well, she had been doing her estate sales, and she had the honor and privilege of doing Archie Manning's mother's estate sale. And she went through all her stuff and everything, and she had some beautiful dresses, and she brought some home to her mother, and she said, "Mother, this is this Manning, and they're your size, and I think you might enjoy them." And Helen said, "I am not wearing anybody's dress of somebody that's died. That's ridiculous, but you hung them in the closet." So Helen died just the way she wanted to die.
She said maybe later.
Maybe later. So Helen died just like she wanted to, just fell asleep in her bed. So it was so unexpected. So everybody's just running around like crazy, not knowing what to do. So Kate, the funeral home's coming. Of course, everybody in Cleveland knows within 3 minutes, you know. And Kate tells two friends of Helen, Francis, and Nancy G, just go in Mama's closet and find something for her to wear. So they go in there and find this dress, and they take it to the funeral home. Well, finally they call and they say, "She's ready for y'all, you know, to come view the body." So they take it in there, and Helen has on Sis Manning's dress. Well, the funeral people don't know. The whole family falls out laughing, and they y'all are laughing. You know, he's thinking y'all are laughing at your grandmother in the casket. You know, I was pretty funny, but that's a year ago.
And Mom said, "Well, you said you'd wear it later."
That was pretty good. You said later, still later. And Helen would call Kay, and she'd go, "Kay, it's getting dark. You better get home." And she said, "Mom," and Kay would go, "Mama, it's not gonna get any darker." It's dark. It ain't gonna get any darker.
Daddy and I used to sneak around and go to estate sales and we'd buy furniture, and we had a shop just loaded, just stacking. And I would have to go in and help her cook and distract her from looking at the window, and he would drive his car through the yard and start unloading it at the shop. And our whole life, all he said, he would, my words, I can hear them now, "Don't tell Rose, don't tell Rose." And we unpacked, well, when he died, we made her an apartment in his shop, and we used everything that we bought at the estate sale. Her furniture I had redone, and she said, "Where'd all this come from?" I can tell you. I wouldn't even dare tell. I was afraid she was going to dig him up. That was awful too. Daddy was, when he was dying, and he was living in his coma, and Mom and I were standing over him. He kept grabbing her hands and trying to put them together. And she said, "He wants you to take care of me." And I said, "No, he wants you to take care of me. I'm a donor." No, he knows that we don't get along, and you're going to have to take care of me. His last words were, all right. With our hands, he had our hands on his chest, and we were sitting there fighting over who had to take care of the other. I'm a daughter, and she had to take care of me. And she called me about 3 weeks later, and she said, "What was this check that Daddy wrote you before he died?" I thought, "Oh Lord, he's going to the bank statement." Now Keith knows how I made it.
That's my children, that's their grandmother, that's their grandmother. I used to always call my grandmother, I would never call my mother for advice, I would always call my grandmother for advice.
I used to call.
And I said, "Mama, you can't tell Mama." I said, "I don't want Mama to know, I'm calling you." And she goes, "Well, Lisa, what if she asked? I can't lie to her." But on Buzz is when he was going down, we were there together. We knew that he used to go when people were going down. He would go to the hospital and pray, say the prayer, Mom was like, "Oh, come all you faithful."
Talking about me, we're driving home from the hospital, and Lisa's driving, and my mother's in the back seat, and we're going down the highway and going home in the ice storm without Daddy. And Lisa says, "Now, I just don't understand, did Buzz go north?" I think he graduated from college. That's a Delta State graduate now.
Art major.
I don't understand, did Buzz just go north?
Lisa, you said earlier you didn't get the accounting team, but one of my fondest memories of you and Buzz was Sunday dinner. We all around the table, and the house was just always open. So Sunday after church, we were always there eating. And Buzz had several rental properties, just across town. And he rented to friends and family, and Lisa and a couple of her roommates were in college there. And I'll just never forget you giving him the rent check that day, that Sunday afternoon there after. And so, despite what you think about not having the accounting, I'll never forget your words were, "Now, Buzz, this is only a third of the rent." So you got some math behind you somewhere.
I don't think he ever cashed any of those. I don't even remember saying that. I'm so proud of you.
I don't know why that stuck with me. A third of a third.
I used to tell him all the time, I just can't decide what to be when I grow up, and I still can't. And he said, "You're a mother. You've got 4 children, and that's your job here on earth, to raise your children." So I just took that at face value and never And every time I felt inadequate because I didn't have a career, I thought, I'm a mother.
How do they meet? Y'all ever, does anybody know?
Mom and Dad?
Air Force.
Air Force Base in Greenville.
Yeah, she was originally from Leland, right?
Okay.
He was stationed. That's how he got his way to the south, actually, from Pennsylvania.
Okay, so that's what,
Greenville Air Force Base, which is about 10 minutes from Leland.
Well,
Well, I always said Greg got the better part of us. He got the last name. We all got the Chudy last name. And if you don't want to do the Chudys when they live here, this is not something we need to carry home. I always tell people, I'm
I
like,
used to be so nice. I love when my daddy saw me riding off in the back of that motorcycle with my husband and my swimming suit. It was the 60s.
but even today, if I need, if my last name gets me nowhere, I'll say, "Did you know John Yurkow?" And always, still to this day, "Oh, Mr. Yurkow," I have never met anyone, any place that hasn't known Buzz, or my husband's patient will come in. He's like, "Yeah, my family, a married girl from the Delta," and he's like, "You know the Yurkow?" "Oh, Mr. Yurkow." So, it's nice knowing that we can still.
Laura has a sweet story. She had a client come in one time that found out she was from Cleveland.
Oh, my God.
oh, yeah.
A lady from Yazoo City.
She was one of the students.
And she was one of his
And
students.
she played the organ in church when we started talking, and I said, "Oh, I'm from Delta," and I think she was from Yazoo City. And she was like, "Oh, the Delta," and I said, "Yeah, I went kind of back, and I was like, my grandfather was John Yurkow," and she's like, "John Yurkow?" And she just started bawling, crying. She's like, "He was my accounting teacher." I said, "Are you serious?" She said, "Yes," and she said, I told him I played the organ several years after I graduated. He always said he'd come see me play the organ. And she said, sure enough, I looked out, and there he was. He drove all the way to Yazoo City to see me play the organ at church. He found my church and where I was. And
She said she looked out and told me, I do have a great story. My preacher just left here, which we invited him, he had to go to the funeral today, Tim Starnes, and they were taking Tim and Sarah out to eat. And, he liked to impress the, the women minister and everything. And they were taking him to Leland, and my mother had this, can I tell this, Marilyn? My mother had this,
told you not to.
person that was kin to fur on another side, you know, what in-law type.
It's from brother-in-law.
And Daddy kept insisting that they take Tim, the preacher, to meet,
Don.
you know,
Well, you're leaving
Uncle
something
Don. And Mom was going, no, you know, no, Buzz, we're not doing that. And he goes, no, I think Tim needs to meet Uncle Don. I think that, Uncle Don was kind of an eccentric Howard Hughes with no money. And Daddy just insisted, well, Mom ruled, and then it came down to it. We all just, you know, so that we would get that base. So we're on the way home from Willow's eating in Leland, and their car catches on fire and burns. So lo and behold, the police came, and they said, who should we call to come get you? And they had to call my mother's sister, who was the wife of Uncle Don. And they all went back to her house. And Daddy said, I told you Tim was to meet Uncle Don.
But tell the story about when you and Bud bought the diamond ring and the jewelry store party.
Yeah, well, we went, it
Everybody
was
loved
her
it, too.
birthday, and for her birthday, I always got her a little piece of jewelry at this Joe Tonis.
Well, for our birthday, Buzz would always take us to Greenville.
And that was
We'd
her,
shop
that
at
was
the
the
new
thing,
mall
and he let them shop at the new mall and pick out whatever they wanted, and we all went to Willow's.
every year.
And I almost birthed my last baby at the mall. We were in there picking out a ring, and this guy comes in, and he's going, come to the owner of the jewelry store, and he's going, you tell me how much this ring's worth. And I'm watching, I know Daddy was watching too. And he said, well, I'm not gonna appraise it unless I charge you for it. And he said, but it appears to be about a 2 carat. Well, you know, Daddy, my ears are both getting like elf ears by then. And he said, we get out in the parking lot, both of us, and we get this guy, you see, we follow him out there. And the guy goes, do you want to buy it? And I look at Daddy and said, honey, we started pulling out all our cash, all our checks. We were taking everything to get that ring. Well, she and I started fighting over it. It was her birthday. It was supposed to be her piece of jewelry, but I wanted it because I needed a nice diamond. Anyway, we went to eat, and everybody was kind of, you know, whose ring is it? Well, I took it to have it appraised. And I was just so tickled to myself, and I threw it on the jewelry store counter here, and I said, would you appraise this? And they gave it back, and it felt like a feather. And I said, it's not in here. And they said, well, when we went to clean it, the dog came on. And that's plastic. And I went, oh my God. So I go home, I go back to my office. I was working at Delta State, and I called Daddy. I said, Daddy, the ring's not real. Don't tell Rose. And I went back to the jewelry store and had that thing plated in gold and wore it so she would not find out. Well, she found out, and the last thing she said, y'all will never go anywhere together again. This is it. Y'all will not go anywhere. And I mean it. Y'all are not go out of this house together. She was just furious. Had it replated. So we would
Replay the plastic ring until she was.
Well, you're not good at
Street, where is it? And I give him the address, and he said, all right, you want me to come get you? I can be through in an hour. And we would go and get in people's garbage, and we'd pull out like plate glass, and stuff. I would just have the best time. Because everybody knew that we were, you know, it was okay we were in the garbage. And he would make stuff out of it.